This is part 6 of our strawberry grow along, and we're looking at the propagation that we were doing from the runners that have now rooted well. So I've got quite a few of the pots that have done fine, and we've just cut them off of the parent plant now. And then if I tip them upside down, and they've been probably rooted for a couple of weeks now and could have been done a little bit sooner, but I haven't had the chance. You can see that the roots are really quite strong and they're doing very well. For any that didn't take root, and this one didn't simply because it wasn't in contact with the soil, then if it has some little roots on the bottom that are trying to grow, then one thing you can do now is just pop them in some water and just allow those roots to get a little bit bigger before they then are potted into some compost, and you should still find that they will root absolutely fine like that. One of the great things about strawberries is that if we have one healthy plant, then from that we can grow many more healthy plants from the runners, or splitting the plant, or growing the seeds from the fruit as well. And the easiest way, in my opinion, is definitely from the runners. And I don't lift the other plants every year because I think it weakens then the growth of the strawberries the next year. And ideally, we want to move our strawberry patches and start afresh every 3 to 5 years. This is to stop any build-up of pests or diseases in the area. So one thing we could use these for is actually to start another strawberry bed. It will then get really well established and give us a year of less fruit before your other strawberry bed is starting to run out of steam, and then give us much more from the next bed. What I'm going to do with mine is, first of all, sell some of them, but also you could put some into some hanging baskets, and I would put a maximum of 3 into a hanging basket that's a minimum of 12 inches. So for a 14-inch hanging basket, I would also put 3 plants. The larger the hanging basket, the better it's going to be, so avoid using any that are too small. And if they're in hanging baskets, they really want feeding well to make sure that they produce as best as they can. But one of the things that can do is give us an earlier crop. So if you've got somewhere like a polytunnel or a greenhouse that you can bring these strawberries into in a hanging basket or in a pot, and then overwinter them in there, then that will allow you to have some earlier fruits next year. You could also do this in a cold frame, and that works very well because you can keep the lid shut and then open it up a little bit later. Strawberries are not a plant that needs protection over winter, and they actually require a cold period in order for them to fruit the next year. So we don't want to put them anywhere that is too warm, but a greenhouse or a polytunnel with no heating will be absolutely fine, and just give an environment of you living in a slightly warmer place and therefore having a earlier crop. The next time we're going to be looking at these strawberries is when we remove the foliage and we feed the bed ready to leave it for winter and help it to produce more fruit next year. So if you are not going to be putting these into hanging baskets or making a new bed immediately, then it's probably wise to pot them into larger pots. I'd probably go for about 1 litre, and they should be fine then sat in those pots over winter until you decide what to do with them. If you've got any like this one that has rooted but actually the roots are literally just holding on, then one of the things that you can do with this is just top it up with a little bit more compost. If your compost has lowered quite a bit on all of them, then that's something you can do on all of them to give you a bit of time before they need potting on as well. And then the other thing is, if you've got any old or damaged leaves, then it will be a good time to remove those as well. But like our plants outside, these will start wilting, and some of these leaves will be removed when we do the maintenance on the main bed as well. So don't forget these when you are looking at cutting off the leaves and feeding the main bed that you've got growing. So to now take these plants from the main plant, which is this stem here, all we're going to do is cut that one off near the soil, and then any additional runners that the plant's got that it's putting out, then we can also remove those as well. I'm just going to find which of these stems the plant is holding on to the main plant, trim that, And then that is that main plant. You can see where it's been on the mud, it's well rooted there as well.